Hey guys, I'm not able to be there today, so I made a video about the percent equation to help you out. Please be nice to your sub, be helpful, please be safe, wear your mask above your nose, and please listen to directions. All right, let's get started. So today we are going to do lesson number 2, and our learning target is I can convert between decimals and percents, I can solve problems using the percent equation, and I can solve problems involving commission. All right, so let's go to this slide. To convert percents into decimals, you have to divide by 100. So for 60%, I want you guys to pick up your calculators and do 60 divided by 100 and see what you get. All right, you should have gotten 0.60 or 0.6. Okay, let's do 4%. Pick up your calculators and do 4 divided by 100. All right, you should have gotten 0.04. Now let's do 135%. Pick up your calculators and do 135 divided by 100. Okay, you should have gotten 1.35. Do you notice a pattern? The pattern is that the decimal moves to the left 2 times. So take a look back at 60%. All we had to do really is just move the decimal to the left 2 times. For 4%, we had to move the decimal to the left 2 times and put a 0 in that little divot right there. And for 135%, we had to move the decimal to the left 2 times as well. So let's use this trick and let's convert 7% into a decimal. So we're going to move the decimal point to the left once, twice, put a 0 in that little divot, and the decimal would be 0.07. For 250%, move the decimal over once, move the decimal over twice, would be 2.50 or just 2.5. For 55%, move the decimal over once, move the decimal over twice, you would get 0.55. All right, I want you guys to try these 3 on your own. Pause the video and then unpause it to see if you got the correct answers. All right, what you should have gotten is 0.05, 1.44, and 0.25. Now I'm going to give you guys decimals and ask you to make them into percents. To convert decimals into percents, multiply by 100. So I want you guys to pick up your calculators and do 0.7 times 100. You should have gotten 70 for 70%. All right, now try 0.03 times 100. Right, you should have gotten 3%. Lastly, do 1.02 times 100. All right, you should have gotten 102%. So the pattern here is the decimal moves to the right 2 times. Sorry, my dogs are kind of like tap dancing in the background. So let's take a look. The decimal moves to the right twice. I put a 0 in the divot. It becomes 70%. The decimal moves to the right twice. It becomes 3%. The decimal moves to the right twice. It becomes 102%. So for the next one, 0.01, the decimal would move to the right twice. That would be 1%. For 1.76, the decimal moves to the right twice. That's 176%. For 0.62, the decimal moves to the right twice. That's 62%. All right, I'd like you guys to try this on your own. Convert each of these decimals into a percent. Pause the video and see if you get the correct answers. All right, the answers you should have gotten are 3%, 102%, 50%. Last class we talked about the percent proportion. This class we are going to solve very similar problems, but we are going to use the percent equation. All right, go ahead and find this slide that says percent equation. The percent equation is part equals percent times whole. The only difference here is the percent, when we plug it into the equation, we have to write it as a decimal. For example, if we're given 25%, we're not going to put 25 into the equation. We're going to turn it into a decimal and put 0.25 into the equation. If we're given 5%, we can't put 5 into the equation. We have to turn it into a decimal and turn it into 0.05. So let's walk through an example that uses the percent equation. Now, I know you guys know how to use the percent proportion, but we're not going to use that today. Please learn this method because we want this method to be in your wheelhouse. So this says 2 is 40% of which number? 2 is the part. So we're going to write 2 underneath the part. Then you can write down your equal sign. 40%. Okay, 40 is the percent. Am I going to plug 40 into the equation? No, I have to turn it into a decimal first. So I'm going to move the decimal over once, move the decimal over twice. It's going to be 0.40. Of which number? Okay, I don't know the of, so that means I don't know the whole, so I'm going to write a variable there. So everyone's paper should look like 2 equals 0.40 times x. Now we have to solve for x. Right now, x is being multiplied by 0.40. The opposite of multiplying by 0.40 is dividing both sides by 0.40. So I'm going to divide both sides by 0.40. The 0.40s on the right-hand side cross off, and I'm just left with x. Finally, my x is alone. All right, to get the answer, you have to type in 2 divided by 0.40. Go ahead and do that and see what you get. All right, you should have gotten 5. 2 is 40% of 5. The answer is 5. Okay, this next one says what percent of 50 is 30? So it says what percent, which means we don't know the percent. So I'm going to put a variable in for the percent. Of 50 means the whole number is 50. So I'm going to put 50 in for the whole number. Is 30. So the is 30. So I'm going to put 30 in for the part. An equal sign in between. So everyone's paper should look like 30 equals x times 50. All right, I have to solve for x. X is being multiplied by 50, so I have to divide by 50 on both sides. Cross off the 50s on the right-hand side, and now you have x by itself. On your calculators, please do 30 divided by 50. Okay, you should have gotten 0.6. That is the percent as a decimal. We need to turn it back into a percent. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the decimal over once, move the decimal over twice. What percentage is this? It is 60%. So 60% of 50 is 30. What number is 60% of 18? So see how it gives us the 60%? We're going to put that into our equation, but I'm not going to write in 60. I have to turn it into a decimal first. So I'm going to move the decimal over once, move the decimal over twice. That would be 0.60 when I put it into the equation. Of 18 means the whole number is 18. And it did say what number is, so I don't know the is. I don't know the part. So I'm going to put a variable for the part and an equal sign. Now this one is pretty special because all you have to do to solve for x is multiply 0.60 times 18. So on your calculator, please multiply 0.60 times 18. All right, you should get 10.8. 10.8 is 60% of 18. The number 15 is 20% of which number? So it told us the number 15 is, that's our part. It says 20%. Now I'm not going to put 20 into the equation. I have to turn it into a decimal first. So I move the decimal over once, move the decimal over twice. That's 0.20. Of what number? Okay, I don't know the whole number, so I'm going to put an X there. Right now, X is being multiplied by 0.20. So I'm going to divide both sides by 0.20. I cross off the 0.20s, and now I have X by itself. All right, on your calculator, please type in 15 divided by 0.20. All right, you should have gotten 75. The number 15 is 20% of 75. What percent of 150 is 75? So see how it says of 150? That tells us the whole number. See how it says is 75? That tells us the part. And we're just solving for the percent. So that's how you fill in the equation. Right now, X is being multiplied by 150. So the inverse operation of that would be to divide both sides by 150. That way we can cross off the 150s and we have X by itself. Please use your calculator to do 75 divided by 150. All right, you should have gotten 0.5. But 0.5 is not the percent. That is the percent as a decimal. We need to turn it into its percent form by moving the decimal over once, moving the decimal over twice. That is 50%. 50% of 150 is 75. What number is 12% of 60? So see how it says 12%? Am I going to put 12 into my equation? No, I am going to turn that into a decimal first. So I'm going to move the decimal over once, move the decimal over twice. That would be 0.12. Of 60, there's my whole number, times 60. I don't know what the part is here. Now this is the special occasion where to find out what x equals, you just need to multiply 0.12 times 60. So on your calculator, please type in 0.12 times 60. All right, you should have gotten 7.2. So the answer is 7.2 is 12% of 60. Of the 60 books on Olivia's bookshelf, 24 are nonfiction. What percentage of the books are nonfiction? Well, it says of the 60 books. So 60 books is the whole amount of books. So that's the number we're going to use for the whole amount. 24 are nonfiction. That's just a part of the book collection she has. So we're going to put 24 under the part. What percentage of the books are nonfiction? So I don't know the percent. Right now, x is being multiplied by 60. What's the opposite of multiplying by 60? Dividing by 60. So to find out what x is, you need to do 24 divided by 60. Go ahead and do that on your calculators. All right, so we're solving for a percentage and we get 0.4. The answer is not 0.4. We need to turn that into a percent. So I move the decimal over once, move the decimal over twice. 40%. 40% of her books are nonfiction. Here's my follow-up question. What percentage of books are fiction? Considering the remaining books would have to be fiction. The answer would be 60%. 60% are fiction. Mackenzie and Emma scored 45% of their soccer team's points. If their team scored 20 points, how many points did Mackenzie and Emma score? Well, let's see. They scored 45%, so let's turn that into a decimal and put it into the equation. 45%, move the decimal over once, move the decimal over twice. That would be 0.45. If their team scored 20 points, that is the whole amount of points that were scored. So we're going to put 20 for the whole amount. How many points did Emma and Mackenzie score? Well, they're just a part of the team. So we're going to mark them as X. Okay, this is another one of those examples where all you need to do to find X is to multiply 0.45 times 20. Go for it. All right, you should have gotten that Mackenzie and Emma score 9 points. Molly earned $105.98 in commission at a jewelry store when she sold a wedding ring for $5,299. What percent commission does Molly earn? So, if you're a salesperson and you sell things that are really expensive, like let's say you work at a car dealership, or let's say you work at a jewelry store, let's say you sell electronics, or you're selling houses, you get to keep a percentage for commission. So, we're trying to figure out what percentage Molly got to keep. We know she made $105.98. That is the part that she gets to keep. So, we're going to put that underneath the part. And we know she sold a wedding ring, and the whole amount of that wedding ring was $5,299. So that's the whole amount. So let's find out what percent commission Molly earns. So we don't know the percent. That's X. Right now, X is being multiplied by 5,299. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5,299. Go ahead and plug that in your calculator and see what you get. All right, you should have gotten 0.02. So what percent commission does Molly earn? Molly earns 2% commission. So whatever Molly sells, she gets to keep 2% of it. Allie sold a house for $240,000. Her commission was 3% of the selling price. How much did Allie make in commission? So Allie gets to keep 3% of this price. So the whole amount of the house is $240,000. For commission, Allie gets to keep 3%. So we're going to turn that into a decimal first. Move the decimal over once, move the decimal over twice. That's 3%. How much did Allie make in commission? Okay, we don't know the part. We don't know the part that Allie got to keep. To solve this problem, you're going to take your calculator and plug in 0.03 times 240,000. Go for it. All right, you should have found out that Allie gets to keep $7,200 in commission. That's how much she made in commission for making that sale. Blake sold a TV. He earned 4% commission on the sale. If Blake earned $71.96, what was the cost of the TV? Well, they gave me the percent. He earns 4% commission. I'm going to take 4% and I'm going to move it into a decimal. That would be 0.04. They told me that Blake earned $71.96. That is just the part, because Blake, as the salesperson, gets to keep only 4% for himself. So that's the part that he gets to go home with. What is the cost of the TV? What is the whole amount that that TV sold for? Right now, X is being multiplied by 0.04. So I'm going to have to divide both sides by 0.04. Go ahead and find out what your answer is. All right, you should have gotten $1,799. So the whole price of that TV was $1,799. Who made more in commission? So if you're seated on the left-hand side of the room, closest to the doors, I want you guys to do the left-hand side of the room problem. I want you to sell a house for $520,000 and earn 2% commission and see how much you'd earn in commission. If you're on the right-hand side of the room, the side closest to my desk, you're selling the house that's $205,000, but you're going to earn 5% commission. So I want you guys to just do your side of the room and see how much commission you would make. Pause the video and we'll come back to it. All right. Who do you think made more? The left-hand side of the room. If you make 2% commission on a $520,000 house, you should have set up your equation like this because you were given the percent and the whole amount of the house. And you would have found that your commission is $10,400. Right-hand side of the room. If you were given 5% commission for $205,000, you'd set your equation up like this, and you would have found that you'd make $10,250. That's pretty close. The reason why it's so close, even though the houses are so different in price, is because the right-hand side of the room was given such a high percentage commission comparatively to the left-hand side. But the left-hand side won. All right, here's your target practice. Please pause it and then unpause to see the answers. All right, here are the answers. The first answer should say 25%, and the second answer should be 33.3 repeating. If you did well there, go ahead and get started on your homework.